back to the beginning. There we go.
Okay.
Okay. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Thriving in Multifamily, a visionary podcast. I am your host, Lissie Daniels, and I am excited to be here to talk about from vision to reality. We are going to continue these conversations in regards to people's visions and their successes on their journeys. I'm excited to have my guest on the show today, that Kimberly with Spherix company, where she is the National Business Development. Welcome, 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 Kim. How are you?
Hi, thank you, Lissie. I'm wonderful, and thank you for having me.
Yes, yes. So I have been doing this new episode where I'm kind of talking about sharing your story. Where did you start? How are you thriving in multifamily? And, I absolutely love your story. So I'm excited to kind of have and share this with the world and just have you a part of that. So can you tell me a little bit about your story and how you got started? And we'll kind of dive in and kind of start this conversation.
Yeah, let's jump in. So I was the renter, and that got tired of looking at virtual tours and photographs. I wanted to see video of the apartment community because I call myself a double agent, meaning I live in apartments and I work in apartments. So, but I wanted to see something not just in the apartment community. I want to see what was around the apartment community, and there was nothing like that. So I started capture the market, because you can capture any market with video is how it came about. And we were the first national video production company that captured, a huge market of multifamily in producing videos for them that went on their website, that went on social media. We were very instrumental in teaching people how to, or what to do with their video once they got it, not just sit in one location, but because this was back before everybody was on Facebook, back when YouTube was sold to Google in a negative, and because they knew there were so many eyeballs on them, Google knew that there was something big there. Google even had a competing video product that nobody was using, so that's why they bought YouTube, which it was called Google Video Beta, and that just went away because they bought YouTube and they didn't need to have anything else but YouTube. So we would teach people what to do, to literally as simple as putting it in a text or email, because this is before
Oh, wow.
SMS messages. So showing them, hey, you can sit this link in your in a text, or you can send it putting it in an email was huge. Showing them how to copy and paste and making a hyperlink was definitely a part of our training. And it's just so weird to say that coming so far forward, now going in, and that was started in 2005.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, that a long time ago, to now 2024. So we're going on almost a 20-year.
Yeah, you know what? Me too. Not on the spot, right? But
Yeah.
I get it, because I started back in 2004. So just think about that. That's over 18 years. That's almost 20 years ago. So yeah, you're exactly right on that end. I love how we always just kind of fall into our positions in this world. And you had the story of you were a renter. So that's how you kind of got into it. And look how it evolved, right?
Oh, yeah. 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 So then in 2017, a company out of California purchased us, and I left shortly after. Sometimes acquisitions, work well for the founders, and sometimes they don't. And in this case, it did not work well for me. So I left. I was just happy that they bought us. We built something. I can honestly say I built something from scratch with some great people, and somebody purchased it from us. And then I went into doing consulting for companies on both management and owner side and supplier side, on everything having to do with marketing and branding and social media. And so then it led me to Spherix, where I'm doing national business development for them now. So
I love that. No, that's an amazing journey. I mean, you hit all areas, right? But it kind of goes back to, there's not a defined way or role of how you should climb to get to success, right? I think whatever your passion is and whatever you love to do, and you kind of just go with that, and it kind of flows into that direction. So how did you ever get like the vision of it? Like what was some stepping stones? You was like, okay, this is how I'm going to navigate where I'm at, to I'm going to get to my own business, to now your live podcast, and then where you're at currently. Like how does that all come together for you?
Well, for me, it was one out of need because there was nothing else out there that I could find, not, I mean, websites were barely being talked about. So it was, 50, maybe 50, website was not a demanded thing. Now, it's pretty much just a natural thing. You have to have a website. But back then, this was pre-mandatory website days. So for me, it was that need to be able to look at my surroundings. And then the other thing was, because someone told me, that person is no longer in our industry, but that someone told me that I would never be able to sell video to apartment communities.
Oh,
So
wow.
that was kind of like a, don't tell me I can't do it,
Right?
It's
Don't put me
true.
in a
Yeah.
box. That's just
No,
going to
yeah.
make that, right?
No,
That's going to
don't
get me
the
motivated.
challenge. It was very much the challenge of,
Yes.
that pushed me into being able to, produce video. I knew nothing about video. I knew how to market. Understood marketing and everything because that's what my degree is in. But I had to learn the world of production.
Hmm.
Me and my business partner Janet, shout out to Janet Settle. She learned everything there was, and so did I, around video production. So because when we started, it actually was a TV show. It was a
Oh,
30-minute
okay.
paid programming TV show that 3 minutes was a video of the apartment community, and then we had commercials in between. But it was so expensive that after a year we just dropped the TV
Mm.
show and only did the short video piece that was anywhere from, I think Camden was the only one that was putting out 3-minute videos because they had so many amenities, they had so much to offer.
Yeah.
But others were doing anywhere from 60 to 90 seconds. So it was the gamut. We used to tell people we could do a Nike video if you want us to, but we started with short, really canned video pieces because it was affordable. We made it affordable
Mm.
for apartment communities to be able to have it on all levels. You didn't have to just have an A product.
Oh my
So it was
gosh.
listening to the market, definitely listening to
Yeah.
the market and listening to my own intuitions and then others. I surrounded myself with a lot of great individuals that either understood video production or knew
Mm.
or understood multifamily. I definitely got some mentors that they didn't know they were my mentors until it was too late. So
I love how you say that, because I think that's a part of this whole, turning your visions into reality is building those meaningful relationships, right?
mhm.
And
Yeah,
connecting with people and knowing what you have and what you bring to the table is something that is worth to where people need to see or hear about, but also
yeah,
where you can grow and they can help you, right? It's almost like
yeah. And
in that
telling me
area.
yeah, telling me you don't know. I mean, I absolutely was always the first to say, I don't know, but let me go find out.
Hmm.
I was
Yes.
always super transparent, and I still am. I don't know. I never used the word, I never misled someone.
Hmm.
And I always said, I don't know, but let me go find out, right? Or I was
Yeah.
prepared with the answers. So it's definitely a lot of trial and error, but and
Hmm.
a lot of transparency.
Oh, I love that. That to me brings like resilience, in a sense to where, no one's going to stop me. I'm still going to do it. I'm still going to work hard at it. And I'm going to find those people that are going to help me grow and build that. And to me,
Yeah.
that's just a true testament. That's just an amazing story in itself and where you're at. And so that's exciting. So what keeps you like, what are some effective ways that keeps you motivated still to be like, okay, I'm not done yet. I'm still
Yeah.
going to push forward.
Yeah, business development, being the national business development being on the national business development team for Spherix, it's just my next chapter. It
Yeah.
is taking everything that I've learned, the first chapter of my life, and applying it to, I've done a really great job of it. It was kind of funny in 2017 when we sold, I actively started getting back onto LinkedIn, and I was telling people, LinkedIn is not just for finding a job. LinkedIn is for more. I mean, now people know
Yeah.
that, but back
Yes.
then people were very much like, why would I be on LinkedIn? I'm not looking for a job. I got really in tune with what each social media platform was doing. I did my own motivation of taking classes from other social media people who were not in our industry.
Yeah.
But I was able to stay in contact with the people that I had built relationships with, either on LinkedIn, but via text. There's a lot of times that when something would come up, I would share that with with whoever the person was. Like, I'm just thinking about you, thought this would be helpful for you. I'd just shoot them an email or shoot them a text. But keeping and seeing them at conferences. The other thing that I did was stay very connected by going to
Mm-hmm.
NMHC, going to Social Media Summit, going to the NAA, going to my state conference, TA. I'm very involved in my state organization, and staying involved in those organizations
Mm-hmm.
helps me stay motivated and helps me through the whole process.
No, I love that. I think you hit on a lot of great points. When you're staying that connected and really getting out there and putting yourself out there, that's what's going to continue to keep you relevant, but it's also going to help you connect and build other connections, right?
Yeah,
But at
yeah.
the same time, you're building these strong relationships. And I
Mhm.
think it's so important. And it kind of taps into where I wanted to go in next is, what roles do building meaningful connections play in your personal and in your professional career or your life? And I think that's so important.
Yeah. I try to build a personal connection with every single person that I meet, whether it's business or personal. And I find, like, so in 2017, I started I've done several podcasts, but my first podcast was called Industry Celebrities. And,
Oh, that sounds
and so
exciting.
because I didn't want I didn't want it to just be about multifamily. I wanted to
Yeah.
open the net to be able to talk to anybody who was a celebrity in their industry. And that's where I'd always
Hmm.
have to explain to people, like, you're a celebrity to me if you're talking to me live, right? So we went from being a podcast to doing it live, and then that's when it switched to industry live, because it could be any industry as long as you're sharing valuable knowledge. Then
Hmm.
that's what I want. That's what I want to connect with you about. I want to learn about
Oh,
you.
wow.
And it is definitely, I had to, I'm a yapper, right? So, I
Hey,
like
so
to
am
talk,
I. So there we go. We go. We
but
connect on that.
I I found that doing these podcasts and these lives helped me sit and listen to before
Hmm.
I talked. So trying to connect with them by sitting and listening to their story, or a story that I could connect and remember them through.
Ah, I love
Yeah.
that. I love that you hit on that, actively listening, right? And having that opportunity to really understand someone's story. That's where we play that empathy part. That's where we build that trust. And so it kind of goes into how can you actively listen to trust and build that relationship. And
Yeah.
you said it, you hit it right on the nail. And that is
Yeah.
sitting back and just understanding where their story is and how they came to be where they're at and where they're going to be, right? And
Yeah.
then being
And
able
I
to go
interviewed
back.
so many people that I didn't realize the connect, like my network just grew, and I didn't necessarily do business with I'd say even 75% of them. I did get
Mhm.
some business from it,
Yeah.
but my whole intention and goal was not to gain business. It was to provide value to the audience.
To thrive in what you're wanting to do. And I love that. And I seen that. Oh my gosh. So this is exciting. Again, I love everything that we are talking about in that with this. But have you ever faced any common challenges or any challenges within your journey that you're like, you know what? I think I'm going to have to reevaluate, or you know what? This is what I'm going to push myself forward to doing. Like, I think we all have those moments where we have setbacks, right?
Yeah.
And then we have to refocus within our career, but still staying positive within
Yeah.
that. Has any of that within your journey have occurred, or you could tell anyone out there how to
Yeah.
kind
I,
of,
like, the first time I ever had to fire a client was painful, and not there are two things that stand out. The first time I had to go back and tell a client that I messed up and that I would do better. And then the second one was having to fire a separate client because they went around us. Instead of hiring us, they were hiring our videographer, who was contracted through us, who had a non-compete, and had done a written agreement to agree that they would not solicit to our clients directly, that they would just come through us. So I had to have a hard conversation with that client, telling them that that was unacceptable and that we wouldn't be moving forward, because we put a
mm,
lot of money behind our marketing and our insurance and everything else to even just provide that camera guy to be there on site. That them going to them directly was not ethical, was not a business practice that we wanted to, continue to, somebody we
mhm.
wanted to continue to business with. The first time I ever had to tell somebody that that I messed up was when we had the TV show. I had to go and tell the head of Lincoln Property, that, oh, now Willow Bridge, that that the production was not of quality, and I understood that, and that we were going to redo the entire
Woo.
episode at our cost, nothing for them to worry about, and
Wow.
just to give me a month. And he said, okay, that's what I wanted to hear.
Wow.
Thank you very much, and
Wow.
shook my hand. And but preparing for that, like, no book can teach you
Yeah.
how to talk through either one of those situations, right?
No, no, I agree with you 100%.
It was
100%.
it was a lot of brainstorming with like, I called a couple of other people to find out, well, what should I do? How should I approach this? What should I say? And in the first instance where I knew it was our fault, I took full ownership of knowing that it was our fault. I just didn't know the footage was going to look like that because we were deceived by the contractor that we had hired. So instead of going into all that with the client, I just said, look, I know it's messed up, and I'm going to fix it, period. And
Mhm.
that's what they wanted to hear, because that's great customer service
Yeah.
when you own it. The second one was harder because how do you tell someone that 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 that's unethical, and that's,
Mhm.
for lack of better words, pretty, poo-poo-ish. I'm trying to be,
Right? It would be
but
pretty hardcore. It's never easy with those conversations. I totally.
when you have to fire a client, it's never easy.
Yeah.
And I was just grateful that I was able to get through that journey with Lincoln, to where we got more business even after that. It cost us a lot in the beginning because
Mhm.
I had to go back and redo it, but because I redid it and I did it the right way, and I was transparent with them, they gave us more business,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So two different scenarios and two different things that stand out, that I had to lean on mentors and lean on my, gut feeling of what I should and shouldn't do, and be prepared when I had those conversations.
Yeah, yeah, that is a challenge and a setback, but you kind of persevere and push through. But I love how you said you were transparent, and I think ultimately the transparency and being honest and coming up front is what led to even further business down the line, and being
Yeah,
able to work through that. But I also love that you talked about, the support that you had with that, right? And
yeah,
the people that you could rely on to kind of get you through that and help. And I think that's so important when it goes back to building those meaningful relationships. But how do you come up with your support system? Because I know me, throughout my journey of where I'm at, I always found myself like not knowing how to go and say, hey, you're my support, you're part of my pit crew, or you're part of my group of people that if I'm going down and I'm set back and I'm going through a challenge, can you be there for me? Can I get on the phone and call you? But it's hard because it's the connection of people, and you want to,
yeah.
how do you go about doing that and finding that? I think.
I think I think nowadays more people are just straight out asking. Back then, it was just because I always, whatever the situation, I thought of a certain person that
Mhm.
I knew that I had a good rapport with, that I knew I could call and ask a question, or I would text them, "Can I ask you this question?
Mm.
I have this dilemma. Can you got 5 minutes? You got 10 minutes, or whatever." Sometimes I take them to coffee if it was a bigger dilemma, depending on what was going on. If I had to take more notes, had to, but if it was a real quick, this just happened, then I would think through my Rolodex of people, and I would say top 20, because your
Mhm.
Rolodex is large after 20 some years, but I would think through who are the people I know would be, one, transparent with me,
Mhm.
not just tell me what they think I want to know. One,
Right?
people who can be who can keep it confidential, because people talk, and I don't want them talking about this business, this
Mhm.
situation. I want it to be confidential. And somebody who's going to give me, their best scenario
Yeah.
solutions, right? Like,
Mhm.
you just, and it's asking more than one person too. That's the
Yeah.
other thing. It's not just one go-to, because that's where I think it gets hard when you rely too much on one person,
Mhm. I
because
love those nuggets. I love those nuggets and those
yeah,
points and those strategies, because I think it's hard. It's hard to not only be in the network and be and building and growing, and and also trying to develop this crew of people to be that lean and that support for you, and then knowing which one falls in which place, because I don't think every one person can do everything. I think
Yeah, no.
sometimes it's separate things, and you made that good point of that. Who's going to be
And there's
that
nothing wrong with asking. And there's
yeah,
nothing wrong
that's
with telling them ahead of time, but then having them in your Rolodex, knowing this is a person I know. Like you, I know I can call you on X, Y, and Z when
yeah,
and that you'll give me your honest feedback. It's taking that for every single like bucket of scenarios that
yeah.
you have that you come across.
Agreed. I same way with you too, ma'am. Same way. Because I think at the end of the day, I don't want a bunch of yes men.
Yeah,
Right? As I
yeah,
said, because how are you going to grow and how are you going to learn? And I
yeah,
think that's part of those professional group of people you should have. But then on a personal level, you should have them too, as well, that are going to be that individuals that are going to help and be that rallying circle for you at
yeah.
the end of the day.
Rallying
And I
circle. I like it.
yeah, and I think those are the ones that are going to help you define who you are as a person. But at the same time, they're a part of your vision. They're a part of
Yeah,
that board that you didn't know, that's setting forth for those goals that you're setting in place to be able to become a reality. They just don't know yet. They're going down, and then when you go hitting their shoulder, and you're like, "Hey, did you
yeah,
know you're part of my support system?
yeah,
We're connected." But I
yeah.
think that all comes together, and I definitely love that, and I love everything that you have shared in regards to your motivation and your goals. What's next? What if you have, hypothetically, what could you say is next in your vision of what you want to see? I always like to kind of just chat and throw things out there.
Yeah. Well, I think since I just started at Spherix as their national business development,
Yeah.
I think what's next is growing that, helping them grow that brand.
Yeah.
Spherix has been around for 20 years, and a lot of people either thought they only did one thing and didn't know that they do 20 plus other things, and that they've been around for 20 years. They do more than just websites or more than just design, even though that's where they started. And being able to create that brand in Texas, a lot of people don't know who Spherix is. So,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
yeah, it's when they're like, well, what is that? I basically say software, right? But since they do, I don't know, 2000, who knows? No,
Somewhere around that
2020,
time, right? When everything
2020. Yeah, 2020, when I really had to be focused on, I was helping another client. I had worked with Spherix with other clients, so just learning through osmosis through them. But now I'm really getting
Mhm.
entrenched, and I think my next chapter is around software and how to make it easier and how to have less pain points for clients when it
Yeah.
comes to their tech stacks.
I love it. I love it. It sounds exciting. It sounds, to me, it sounds a little bit challenging. I know when you deal with
Yes,
tech and all of that, but
very
it's
challenging.
also, but at the same time, it's intriguing, and it's continued growth, right?
Yeah,
You're continuously thriving, and you're creating
learning.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I will tell you this, that I'm super passionate about the brain and dementia. I have a
Yes.
nonprofit called Do As We Do,
Yeah.
but about educating yourself when there was a study done that in your 40s, 40s to 50s is the prime time when we should be learning things and
Mm.
exercising our brain, because our brain is a muscle, and if we're not exercising the brain, then it goes to waste,
Oh,
and that's
wow.
how you develop disease like
Hmm.
dementia when you're not using your noodle. So I'm just turned 50, and I am definitely exercising my noodle on a daily basis from all the
Wow.
things I'm learning at Spherix.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that. That's something to take note with out there, listeners, because we definitely need to continue to stretch our brain cells and that
Yeah,
elasticity, and kind of get out of that box, and don't quit being resistant to
yeah.
things and learning,
To new.
and
Something
to
new
new
is always
soon.
good.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
very much. I love
And
that.
and we die if we don't evolve and we don't grow. So I
Well, we
might
don't
not.
want to do that.
No, no. And that's what it comes down to is opening my mind to be able to exercise that brain on
Yeah.
whatever new that I'm learning. So, and people should just be open to learning new things. If we get out of our own way, for sure.
Oh my gosh, I love how you say that. Yes, get out of your own way. It's so important. That's all about taking visions and getting outside of your box and learning new things and growing, and not having to think you have to go one step in order,
Yeah.
depending on what your role is. Go with what your passion is, write it down, set those goals like you stated, and talked about, and in having that core group of people, personal and
Yeah.
professional, to be
Yeah.
part of your life on that. Okay, well, Kimberly, I just want to ask, do you have anything else you want to share that you could give advice, tips, or anything to our world of listeners out there? Because I think you shared such an amazing story, and your triumphs and your challenges and everything of that. So the floor is yours.
Well, thank you. I just want to say thank you for this opportunity. And I think that my biggest nugget is to keep on learning and to keep stretching yourself, to exercise the brain, and don't be, just because, like, for example, I feel grateful that my connections are like telling me, I don't know of Spherix, but I am open to learning, or I'm open to hearing. Be open to learning about something new, whatever it is. And it not only will help your brain, but you never know, it might help your organization if you find something that is, going to help you be more efficient and produce a better product.
Ah, I
So,
love that.
and if you
That's
have any questions about Spherix, you can contact me at just
go ahead.
yeah. If you go to Google and you put in hashtag that Kimberly, everywhere you want, you can find me everywhere I'm at on Google, is what I tell people. It's the easiest thing to remember. Or email me, Kimberly Scott. I have a very common first and last name, Kimberly Scott at Spherix.com, if you have any questions. But yeah.
I would definitely love to get you back on another episode to tell us your story about the Kimberly Scott. The other name, no. But
Yes.
it's been a joy, and you have left with such a positive nugget. I love seeing this, and just us just coming together and having these conversations and just sharing that. And anyone else out there, thank you for tuning in to our Thriving in Multifamily, a visionary podcast. I'm Lissie Daniels with that Kimberly. You can also, reach us through, oh gosh, I just went blank
Here,
right
hold on.
there. Yeah, restart
I'm
that part.
gonna put the banners that you can also reach Lissie. There we go. How about that?
There you go. Reach us at that. You know what? Can I pause it for a sec? Oh,
Yeah.
connect with me on all my social media platforms: LinkedIn, TikTok. Yes, I did a little TikTok, Instagram, and of course my website, www.lissiedaniels.com, or reach me through my email. This has been a pleasure. Until the next episode, I will talk to you guys soon. Bye now.
Bye.